Once again, we want to mention this is the 5th national and final national race for U.S. Offshore for 1993, which means that right after this race, we will be announcing the national champions. And Eastern Express will be one of those national champions as it leads and is in first place in the national standings in Offshore D with 1,577 points. Former national and world champions, the Pipeline Express racing team, currently in third place in D class, D41. Pipeline Express is a 30-foot Shadow Cat powered by two 600-horsepower Bandit inboards with Merc Cruiser drives. The driver, Phil Crawford from Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Rattleman Stanley Moore, also from Point Pleasant. Pipeline Express currently in third place in D class. By the way, Mr. Bob Shug from West Point, New Jersey, is the owner of Pipeline Express. Some of the other competitors in D class include Predator, Molly's Black Gold, Eastern Express, which is currently in second place, BFI Systems, Houseweighted is 2, right now the leader, Pipeline Express in third, and Bounty Hunter. Stanley Moore, Throttleman, doing a fine job aboard Pipeline Express. Just listen to those two 600-horsepower Bandit inboards. Pipeline Express. This is the only second race for Pipeline Express this year. Their Pipeline Express goes by Nasty Habit, which is the leader in factory class. As we said, this is their only second race. They led all the way in Barnegat Bay, New Jersey, but had a problem. So Pipeline Express is just vying to make a very good showing here at this 1993 Virginia Beach Offshore Grand Prix and not really competing for any national or any point standings. But right now it's doing very well. It is currently in third place in D class. Pipeline Express. Here's an update in open class. Leading is Ocean Outboard, followed by Gifford Racing, and Team Jaguar in Superboat in excess is the leader in that class. But right now you're watching Pipeline Express, currently in third place in D class. This is the 1993 Virginia Beach Offshore Grand Prix. Great place for an event. Dominating the entire B class is the Fever Racing Team. There is Fever, B6 comes up on us here. B6 Fever is a 28-foot Meta powered by two 550 horsepower Zool racing engines with Merc Cruiser drives. Aboard Fever, driver Joe Scrow from Belmore, New York, throttleman Joe Latona from Merrick, New York, and navigator Jeff Cropper from Dix Hills, New York. The Fever Racing Team would like to thank S&S Propeller, Richie Zool for the motors, Al Grover Marine from Freeport, New York, Big Apple Cafe from Dallas, Texas. By the way, the Fever Racing Team is the holder of the kilo record at 91.9 miles per hour, and they are two-time former world champions. Fever took a first place in Montauk earlier this year with an average speed of 81.01 miles per hour. Currently, they are in fourth place in the national point standings and in third place in the Northeast point standings. B6, Fever dominating B class, currently in first place. The Fever Race Team doing an excellent job in B class. Right behind them is Rock Solid and Shockwave. Some of the other boats in B class include Rapid Transit, Parts Plus, Instigator, and Burning Desire. There's Fever Racing Team with Joe Scrow, Joe Latona, and Jeff Cropper doing a fine job. Just listen to those Zool power plants. The Fever Racing Team looks real comfortable. There's Pipeline Express on the outside in third place in D class. Of course, Fever is in B. Right alongside there and now passing Pipeline Express. Fever, the leader in B class, the Fever Racing Team. Fever on the inside, Pipeline Express in D class on the outside. Running comfortably in second place in B class, Rock Solid. Rock Solid is a 33-foot fountain powered by two 600 horsepower Troy Dennis engines with Mercruiser drives. The owner, Throttleman Art Lilly from Millersville, Maryland. The driver, Alan Borum from West River, Maryland. Navigator Chris O'Donnell from Millersville. Rock Solid is currently in first place in the Great Lakes Trophy Series, having won at Lake Peoria, Detroit, Erie, and Port Huron. It took third place at the East-West Powerboat Shootout earlier this year with an average speed of 72.29 miles per hour. It also took first place in Atlantic City, a second in New Orleans, and right now is second in the national point standings in the APBA. Rock Solid. Also running second in this race, there's A28 Pantera on the outside in production class. The Santa Chevy on the inside seems to be powered down somewhat. Now, if the Santa Chevy does continue to run, we believe it will be the national champion in Superstock class. We're back on Rock Solid, 33-foot fountain. Currently in second place in B class. Once again aboard Rock Solid, we've got Mr. Art Lilly, who's the owner, Throttleman, and the driver is Alan Borum, and navigator is Chris O'Donnell, all doing a fine job aboard Rock Solid, comfortably in second place in B class. And there's Virginia Beach. Great place to watch a race from the beach or from your hotel balcony. Either way. There are those Mercruiser drives. Rock Solid right on course. B1 in second place in B class. As the boats are coming around the turn, there's Gifford Racing out in front, followed by Foster's Blue Thunder and RC Marine with Team Jaguar on the outside. Now here's another vantage point. We see to the right of our picture Foster's Blue Thunder, followed by RC Marine. Gifford Racing is second in open class. There's Foster's Blue Thunder, a 32-foot offshore concept. And there's Team Jaguar there on the inside, currently in third place in open class. Gary Pearson, the driver of Team Jaguar. There's Foster's Blue Thunder on the outside. Giving a great performance is the 32-foot offshore concept Foster's Blue Thunder C5. Foster's Blue Thunder is powered by three 300 horsepower Evinrude outboards. The driver is Stephen Bandoyan from Winchester, Massachusetts. Throttleman Ed Morris from Salem, Massachusetts. Navigator Joe Story from Newbury, Massachusetts. Foster's Blue Thunder took fourth place in Montauk, fourth place in Erie, a first at Newburyport, a third at Point Pleasant, first in Kent Narrows, and a second in Barnegat Bay, New Jersey. Currently, they are in third place in the national point standings and first in the Northeast. The sponsor of Foster's Blue Thunder is Foster's Beer, Blue Thunder from Down Under. Currently running in third place and open is Team Jaguar. Team Jaguar is a 35-foot Jaguar powered by two 800 horsepower Mercury engines with Mercruiser drives. The driver is Gary Pearson from Westfield, New Jersey. Throttleman Jack Clark from Pembroke, Florida. There's Gifford Racing there on the outside, currently in second place in open class. And there is Foster's Blue Thunder with RC Marine in production class just behind there, with How Sweet It Is Too, the leader in D class. The Foster's Blue Thunder Racing Team would like to thank their sponsors, who include US 1 Auto Marine in Newbury, Massachusetts, and Russo Marine in Medford, Massachusetts, Boston's #1 dealer. There's How Sweet It Is Too on the outside, currently in first place in D class. Foster's Blue Thunder just coming by there on the inside. There's How Sweet It Is Too, as we mentioned. And of course, the Virginia Beach skyline in the background. Just very, very close there to the beach. A great place to watch the race from that vantage point. Currently in first place in production class is RC Marine. RC Marine is a 30-foot superboat powered by two 385 horsepower Zool racing engines with Mercruiser drives. The driver is Steve Abbott from Laurel Hollow, New York, Throttleman RC from West Islip, and navigator is Steve Sokolich from Astoria, New York. RC Marine currently in first place in production class. RC Marine has won just about every race it's entered. It is first in the national point standings and first in the Northeast point standings. Has a great history, RC Marine. In 89, 90, 91, and 92, they were the Northeast Divisional champs. 89, 90, 91, the North American champions. They were the winner of the 1991 Florida's Governor's Cup. And in 1992, they were the national champions. There's Foster's Blue Thunder on the outside. And this year, they will also be the 1993 national champions. The racing team would like to thank Skip and Jimmy Buck from MRD, Richie Zool, Bill and Curtis from Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, and navigator Steve Sokolich for the late nights he spent helping to prepare the boat for the race. Matt Koenig from Amsoil. Special thanks to Tina for driving the truck and trailer to and from the race. And a very special thanks to Bruce Thompson and Anna Pulley from the Tropicana Resort Hotel in Virginia Beach for sponsoring the RC Marine race team for this race. Currently, #1 in production class, RC Marine. There's Gifford Racing out in front, followed by Team Jaguar there in the middle, and RC Marine, of course, here on the inside. Team Jaguar driver is Gary Pearson, who's also the president of U.S. Offshore Racing Association, and we'd like to extend our sincerest congratulations to Gary and the rest of the U.S. Offshore staff for putting together a tremendous and successful racing package for this 1993 season. And, of course, at Freeze Frame Video, we just want to say that we are very proud of being part of this. RC Marine on the inside, the current leader in production class. RC Marine. This is the 1993 Virginia Beach Offshore Grand Prix from Virginia Beach, Virginia. This is the 5th and final national race for the U.S. Offshore Racing Association. There's Gifford Racing out in front there with, of course, RC Marine on the inside. Gifford Racing is second in open class, but first in the national point standings. Team Jaguar coming up there right now is running third in open class, but is second in the national point standings at this point. Now as we look back on the field, there's Spoiled Banana in factory class and Feelin' Wet in super stock. Feelin' Wet is currently running in third place in S class. In first place in S class is Terminator with Hot and Nasty coming up second. Other competition there includes Ballistic and Topaz in super stock. Feelin' Wet currently running in third place in S class. Feelin' Wet S9, a 30-foot Cobra. Now as we come upon Feelin' Wet, once again it is a 30-foot Cobra powered by two 2.5 EFIs. The driver Gary Riccio from Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Throttleman Brian Riccio also from Point Pleasant. Feelin' Wet took 5th place in Point Pleasant, a 2nd in Lake Erie, a 3rd place in Quagon-the-Lake, 6th place in Barnegat Bay, and 3rd at Kent Narrows. It is currently in 4th place in the national point standings and 5th in the Northeast Divisional standings. The Feelin' Wet racing team would like to thank a number of its sponsors, who include TSE Motor Cars of Toms River, New Jersey, which is a dealer of Mercedes-Benz, Saab, Volkswagen, and Porsche. Also the White Sands Motel from Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey, Bob's Auto Repair, Point Pleasant, and NAD, which is the National Automobilers Exchange in Bordentown, New Jersey. There's Team Jaguar on the outside and currently running in third place in open class. And of course, Feeling Wet with Gary Rizzio and Brian Rizzio doing a fine job aboard Feeling Wet S9. Currently in third place in S class. A14 Full Throttle Race Team. This is a 29-foot progression powered by two 420-horsepower Bandit racing engines built by Kurtz Marine. This boat is throttled by Tony Recchia and driven and owned by Richard Calabrese. Full Throttle Race Team would like to thank their sponsors, Ajax Automotive, Voices Rock and Roll Band, Progression Industries, Vince Marine, and Precision Concrete Pouring Inc. Also special thanks to Kurtz Marine and his men for all their help. This is Full Throttle's second race for the 1993 season, and this will be a boat to look for in the upcoming 1994 season. Full Throttle is seeking major sponsorship at this time. You're looking at A14 Full Throttle. As we mentioned, this is the final and fifth national race of U.S. Offshore for the season. So right after this race, we will be giving you a tally not only on the winners of this race, but also the national champions. Currently running in second place in factory class F22, Hyperactive. Hyperactive is a 21-foot activator powered by one 2.4 EFI. The driver, Bill Scudder from Freeport, New York. Throttleman Ronald Rossi, also from Freeport. Bill Scudder is not only the driver, but also the owner. Hyperactive took third place in Montauk, a first place in Point Pleasant, and a first place in Barnegat Bay, New Jersey. Currently in second place in the Northeast Point standings and fourth in the national standings. Hyperactive, F22, nice jump. Hyperactive. There's the Santa Chevy on the outside in S class. It's still running, but it's somewhat down. The Hyperactive Racing Team would like to thank everyone over at Ocean Outboard with special thanks to Ed Riley. Also the crew members, including Phil, the crew chief, Little Bill, Kelsey, Cindy, and Kathy. There's Ballistic S4 on the outside. Hyperactive currently having a great race, running in second place in factory class. Hyperactive F22. There's Insanity on the outside, moving up in P class. Of course, the crew of Insanity is the New family. Chuck, Tony, and Jason New aboard Insanity. P24 in Pro Stock. Moving up in P class. S4 Ballistic. Ballistic is a 26-foot express powered by two 250 horsepower Mercury outboards. The driver, Demby Set from Manassas, Virginia. The owner and throttleman is James Set, also from Manassas. S4 Ballistic. Ballistic is competing in S class along with Terminator, Hot and Nasty, Feeling Wet, and Topaz, and also Courageous. You're watching the Ballistic Race Team. Jim and Demby Said from Manassas, Virginia. Doing a fine job aboard Ballistic. There's Insanity on the inside. Moving up. Passing Ballistic and continuing to move up in P class. Insanity. The News from New Jersey. Ballistic currently running in fourth place in S class. Nice jump. Good job by Jim and Debbie Set from Manassas, Virginia. Ballistic is slowing down a bit, but seems to be having no problem. Currently in second place in C-Class, Wits End. A 32-foot skater powered by two 550 horsepower Saris engines with Mercruiser drives. The driver, Robert Whitco from Albany, New York. Throttle Jim DeNuyer from Ballston Spa, New York. Wits End has won just about every race it's entered this year with the exception of Montauk, where it took second place. It took first place in Erie, first place in Point Pleasant, and first in Detroit. They are currently in first place in the national point standings. Here we are on board now, Wits End. This is what it looked like earlier today at the beginning of this 1993 Virginia Beach Offshore Grand Prix. And there's Wits End and Bobby Whitco, the driver, doing a fine job there at the wheel. This was just moments before we got the green flag earlier in this race. As you can see, all the boats are lining up, picking up speed. The motors are revving, maneuvering into position. And we have the green flag now. There you see Predator on the outside. Splashing here, splashing in front of Wits End and getting a little bit of that. And Bobby Whitco doing a fine job there at the wheel. The very, very beginning of this race, this 1993 Virginia Beach Offshore Grand Prix. Just listen to those engines. There's Bobby Whitco at the wheel, maneuvering, doing a fine job in the early moments right after the green flag. Wits End, as we said, is the national leader in point standings. Also is second in the Northeast divisional points and fourth in the Central Division. The Wits End racing team would like to thank Vern French and also Terry for all her help. Armed and Dangerous is leading in C-Class. Wits End is currently in second place. Other competitors, well, actually Riddler, Foster's Blue Thunder, and Mr. Goodwrench have retired from the race. Wits End currently in second place in C-Class. Virginia Beach in the background. Great location for a race. Just listen to the throttle man, Jim DeNuyer from Ballston Spa, New York. There you see a little bit of the skill that it really takes to handle one of these big boats. Wits End is rigged and maintained by Performance Marine in Lake George, New York. Once again, that's Bobby Whitco at the wheel. Bobby is also the owner of Wits End. Wits End currently in second place in C-Class. We can assure you that Wits End will be the 1993 national champions in their class. They're so far ahead in points that really it is impossible for any other competitor to catch up to them. Once again, we will have the listing of all the national champions after this race, this being the final and fifth national race for the U.S. Offshore Racing Association. As we ride along with the Wits End racing team, with benefit of our onboard camera, we just want to wish the Wits End racing team the very best of luck in this race and also for the rest of the 1993 season. So sit back and enjoy. A9 wide open. Wide open is a 27-foot Cobra powered by one 650 horsepower Mercury engine with Mercruiser drive. The driver Mike Scarpa from Jersey City, New Jersey. Throttleman Mark Pica from Jersey City, New Jersey. Mark, by the way, is also the owner of Wide Open. Wide Open took third place in Montauk, first at Kent Narrows, seventh in Point Pleasant, fourth in Detroit, and is also a sixth place in Erie, and is currently third in the Northeast Point standings and third in the national standings. There's It Excess in the Superboat class in first place, going on the outside, going by Wide Open. As we were saying, Wide Open is third in the national point standings. The Wide Open Racing Team would like to thank Pica's Auto Service, Rogers Speed Shop, Rich Decision, JC Auto and Truck Parts, S&S Propeller, Wayne Witkowski, and special thanks to all the crew members and to Gina and Kathy. Wide Open, A9, currently in third place in the national point standings. Wide Open Racing Team. The weather really cooperated today for this race. I mean, even though it was cloudy and gloomy, the waters were not that choppy, though a little bumpy in spots, but not bad. Good for competition, highly competitive water conditions. Just about right. Wide Open in production class. Wide Open crew members Mike Scarpa and Mark Pica from Jersey City, New Jersey, doing a fine job. Currently in third place in production class, Dirty Dancer. Dirty Dancer is a 25-foot check made powered by one 600 horsepower Chevy inboard with a Mercruiser drive. The driver Bob Nothnagel from Rochester, New York. Throttleman Tom Judd, also from Rochester. Dirty Dancer took second place in Point Pleasant, a first in Newburyport, fourth in Montauk, and a second in Kent Narrows. Currently, it is second in the Northeast Divisional standings and fourth in the national standings. Dirty Dancer. In factory class F5, W&P Associates, a 24-foot Sonic powered by one 420 horsepower Mercury engine with a Mercruiser drive. The driver Walter Pipsack from Point Pleasant, New Jersey. The owner Throttleman Scott Hold'em from Brick, New Jersey. W&P Associates F5 factory class. Other competitors in factory: Nasty Habit, Hyperactive, and Spoiled Banana. But you're watching W&P Associates. Walter Pipsack and Scott Hold'em doing a fine job aboard W&P. Nice job on the throttle by Scott Hold'em there. Just listen. Walter Pipsack and Scott Hold'em there doing a fine job. Walter driving, Scott Hold'em at the throttle. Little action there with W&P Associates, but both Walter and Scott have it under control. Doing a fine job. There's W&P Associates on the outside, and how sweet it is, too, on the inside. The leader in D class. How sweet it is, too.